And now it's time for Joel's Gnomes.
Hello, welcome to Joel's Gnomes. I am Martin, I'm one of Joel's Gnomes. And today we are finishing up with a little experiment we started about 2 months ago. Have you ever seen in one of those wonderful catalogs, Williams-Sonoma, Martha Stewart kitchens, those designer kitchens that in the background, in a window or on the counter, you might see a beautiful herb topiary, a rounded ball in a beautiful clay pot, and you think, yeah, that's fake and I can never have something like that. Well, today we're going to show you how you can have something like that for pennies on the dollar.
So the experiment we've got going is to try and get these German thyme plants into a pot, and we've heard that you can make them into little topiaries. So today we're going to dig them up and put them in a pot with some potting soil and trim them back a little bit to round balls, and then we will wait for a couple of months to see how they do. Okay, we're going to be putting these German thyme plants in a pot on the patio, and our go-to is, of course, terracotta. Terracotta with a drain hole. Terracotta provides aeration as well as good drainage, and that keeps the soil from rotting when the soil gets too wet, and it won't like soak up and just sitting there. So the next worst thing is a glazed terracotta pot, which we've got here. It does have a drain hole. It will retain a lot more moisture, so if you use one of these, be careful with watching how much water you give the plants, because this will retain a lot more moisture and it might just rot the soil. The worst thing that you can do, and you should never buy, is a plastic or a pot that's glazed without a drainage hole. If it does not have a drainage hole, then definitely don't use it. So to cover your drainage hole, you'll just use some pieces of broken terracotta pottery from some other plant. It covers up the drainage hole, it keeps the soil from leaking out. Also, you can use some bits of concrete that might be lying around. If you have a tall pot like we do here, and you got a lot of space and you don't want to fill it all up with potting mix, which can be expensive, you can use some stored up styrofoam. Put those in there. Arrange them around. That will help to fill it up. Also, the styrofoam will help to keep a little bit of moisture in there, and that will keep your plants happy. So, there we go. And as you fill it up with the styrofoam and potting mix, to tamp down the soil and eliminate any air pockets between all that stuff that you put down below, just give it a good watering. Now we're ready to put our plant in the pot. This is a German thyme we've dug up, and this is what it looks like before you shear it up and shape it. It's got some weeds in it. It's kind of overgrown. And this is the example that we are going to put in the pot. We sheared it up, so we're going to put it in the pot. It's going to be sort of a topiary. This is still an experiment. We're going to fill that in, and every couple of weeks we're going to shear it back a little bit, and we'll get back with you in a couple of months on how it looks. Okay, we are partway through our German thyme topiary experiment, and we've been keeping these plants alive in pots for a couple of months now. We've been trimming them back. Today, they need another trimming. So, just take some scissors, because they're very tender plants, and just trim them back to a nice rounded shape. And in a month or so, we'll keep you informed on how the experiment turned out.
So that's how we made our German thyme topiaries. These can last through the winter in a sunny spot in a window, and as they grow in the winter, all you have to do as you trim them up is to just snip off all the loose ends, and you can just sprinkle those into whatever food that you're using. You can use this with German thyme, you can lemon thyme, not creeping thyme because it grows along the ground. Rosemary is absolutely perfect for this as well. And when you snip it and add it to your cooking, you'll know where it comes from, and you won't have used any herbicides or pesticides on it. So you know that you don't even actually need to wash it. All you have to do is just sprinkle it in and it's ready to go. So if you want to have a beautiful accessorized kitchen just like those snobs at Williams-Sonoma or Martha Stewart, you can just say, stick it, I got something virtually for free, and I grew it myself. So a few things that we would do in the future, this was our first experiment with this, is you can probably use a clay pot that's not quite as large, probably something half the depth of these. As well as we started out with plants that had been growing since last summer, and so they had a really woody stem to them. So what you can do in the spring is buy your little plants of rosemary or thyme from your garden center, plant them in a pot that you might find attractive and that you want the mature size to be, and then just start snipping away once a week, once every couple of weeks, until you reach the desired size and height that you want. So these are sheared a little bit shorter. They're more ovals than rounded balls, but you can make them into rounded, higher balls to them. So once again, I am Martin. I'm one of Joel's Gnomes. We thank you so very, very much for watching Joel's Gnomes, and please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit the subscribe button. Thanks again.